Good morning. I am Wanda and welcome to this writing tutorial. Today we will learn how to punctuate simple, compound, and complex sentences. To begin, it is key to understand how sentences are formed. In a nutshell, we can build a sentence with dependent and independent clauses. An independent clause expresses a complete thought. As such, it consists of a simple sentence conformed by a subject, a verb, and usually a complement, such as elephants are the world's largest land animal, or Olivia forgot the keys at her workplace. As you can see, when it comes to simple sentences, the only punctuation rule you must keep in mind is to begin with a capital letter and end with a period. There's no need to add commas or semicolons in this kind of sentence, though those punctuation marks are indeed used for punctuating compound sentences, along with other elements, of course. A compound sentence is the union of two or more independent clauses. In other words, in order to form a compound sentence, we need at least two simple sentences that need to be joined. To do so, there are three options you can follow. The first one is to connect the sentences with a comma followed by one of the 7 coordinators, better known as the fanboys: or, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. As an example, we've got the compound sentence: Rodrigo baked a lot of cookies, so he ran out of flour. The second way to punctuate a compound sentence is by using a semicolon followed by a conjunctive adverb and a comma, as we can appreciate in the example. Lily told Maya that she would do the laundry. However, she reneged on her promise. The last option is to simply use a semicolon to join the sentences, but we only appeal to this strategy when the clauses are highly related. For instance, it is correct to use a semicolon in the sentence, I enjoy eating sweets. My favorite dessert is chocolate cake. So far, we've covered simple and compound sentences, which are formed by independent clauses. Now, on the other hand, complex sentences are formed by one independent clause and at least one dependent clause. These kind of clauses start with subordinating conjunctions, such as because, since, when, while, if, that, who, and many others. And they cannot express complete ideas. That's why they're known as sentence fragments, as they need an independent clause to stand as a sentence. For example, if you drink too much coffee is a dependent clause because it doesn't make sense until we add an independent clause like you will get sick. Thus, how should we link these clauses? Well, everything relies on the order in which the dependent and independent clauses appear. So, taking up the last example, we should link the clauses by a comma when the dependent clause starts the sentence, like this: if you drink too much coffee, comma, you will get sick. On the contrary, when the independent clause starts the sentence, the comma is not needed, nor any punctuation mark apart from the period in the end, like this: you will get sick if you drink too much coffee. Now, there are 3 kinds of complex sentences that differ from each other by the function of the dependent clause it contains. Thus, if the dependent clause acts like an adverb, like in the sentence, when Simon was cooking, the phone rang, or Monica couldn't sing at the recital because she got a sore throat, Then we have a complex sentence with an adverb clause. The same occurs with complex sentences with an adjective clause or with a noun clause, as we can see in the other examples displayed on screen. Now, let's take a closer look at the words and phrases that link dependent clauses to independent clauses. In short, subordinating conjunctions express a cause-effect relationship or a shift in time and place between the two clauses. Here are a couple of examples. The sentence, Rose was crying because she broke her arm, conveys a cause-effect relationship due to the conjunction because. Also, notice that as the independent clause goes first, there's no need to add a comma. The same occurs with the sentence, Little Daniel was not allowed to eat his chocolate bar until having lunch, though in this kind of sentence, we express a shift in time due to the subordinating conjunction until. Other subordinating conjunctions that express shift in time and place are whereas, whenever, as soon as, since, when, and wherever. Meanwhile, other subordinating conjunctions that express a cause-effect relationship are if, as long as, although, than, that, and so. Lastly, it's time to test what we've just learned. Here's an incorrectly punctuated paragraph. Try to correct it. You can pause the video for the time you need, and then we'll check together one of the right ways to punctuate it. Welcome back. So, first we must identify where each sentence starts and ends by separating the different complete ideas contained within the paragraph. This will point out where exactly some kind of punctuation is needed, as you can see on the screen. Here's a correct way to punctuate this paragraph. For the first sentence, it was a rainy day when little Daniel attended his first day at an elementary school. We've got a complex sentence. We know this due to the subordinating conjunction when, and as the last one is located right after the independent clause, we mustn't use a comma to join the clauses. Only a period is required to mark the end. The second part says, until 7 o'clock, the 6-year-old boy stood at the bus stop. Meanwhile, he jumped over water puddles, feeling fortunate that he was wearing his new green rain boots. Now, this is a bit more complicated, but let's break it down. In short, we have got two complex sentences joined together by the conjunctive adverb meanwhile, which results in the main compound sentence. That's why we need to use a semicolon and a comma to accompany the adverb. Besides, because the dependent clauses within the complex sentences are positioned before the independent clauses, we must put a comma to join the clauses. After that, we've got two compound sentences, each one formed by two independent clauses joined by a comma plus one of the fanboys. Thus, in the sentence, the big yellow bus arrived just on time and little Daniel got on, we use and to add a similar idea. Meanwhile, for the sentence, a sweet girl encouraged Daniel to have a seat next to her, so he sat by her side. We use so because we need to add an expected result. Of course, as these two compound sentences express different ideas, they need to be separated by a period. Last, the paragraph ends with the simple sentence, "They became good friends from that day on." So we need to add a period as the last punctuation mark. That would be all. Thanks for watching.